Nils, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Modernizing Legacy Software with AI, a technical leader's guide to AI-driven transformation. I was wondering if you could take a moment today to talk to all of us a little bit about yourself and what you do, and what your book is about and who it's for.
Hi, Len. Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. The book is basically the product of a project I stumbled into. I've been working with this organization for about 2.5 years already, and I know they had a fairly old production set of software. And at some point, they were asking for modernizations from the original developer who wasn't able to deliver because it was just too complicated. And at that point, AI was sort of ripe enough to actually have a shot at it. And I said, what the heck, let's give it a shot. And it turned into a whole project, which did a lot of work in 3 weeks, an amazing amount of work. Ran into a lot of problems with AI, obviously, because AI is not all deterministic. AI goes all over the place. And the book is basically the result of me documenting the journey, what it took, what went right, what went wrong, and kind of the learnings for other people to draw from.
And specifically, you mentioned in the book that, a conventional legacy system rewrite that would have taken 6 to 9 months to complete was done in a fraction of the time, which is really amazing. But one of the things you ran into right away was, as you're saying, it's not necessarily deterministic or predictable, and it can go off in the wrong direction, or it can do unsafe things. So what are you talk in the book about the 3-part formula for success with AI? And I was wondering if you could talk just a little bit about that, how that works.
Yeah, I mean, the key thing you need for the AI to be successful is you have to provide it enough context. I mean, it has to basically have domain knowledge. You have to provide it frameworks. That's kind of keeping it, keeping it on the road, keeping it between the guardrails, and you have to provide good prompts. And those three things together really give you the success. And one of the things that I learned, I mean, initially the first 2 days were just picking apart the code, figuring out what do we have, how can we go about this, how do we want to structure this architecturally, how should this really look, and what's our objective? I mean, should we wholesale modernize this? Should we sort of pick at it piecemeal? So there was just a lot of framework stuff. And then we kind of decided on it, and this was literally a sparring level discussion with the AI, because the AI can do two things. I mean, on the one hand, you can use it as what I like to call a Google Plus. Google Plus AI is essentially, hey, I'm going to use it as a glorified Google, put this information together, research this, create a presentation. It's basically used as a tool, which I also use it for a lot. But you can also use it as a sparring partner, sort of at eye level, where you have to know what you want, you have to know where to go, but the AI is very, very good at picking that apart, showing you gaps in your logic, showing your alternatives you hadn't considered, and then structure that information for you. So there was a lot of back and forth there. Then jumping into the content work, it became apparent that the AI was always trying to sort of do things wrong. Because the AI, it's a statistical generator at the end of the day, right? I mean, yes, they've gotten extremely good. Yes, they're extremely powerful, but the prompts you give it end up biasing it a certain way. They end up directing it a certain way, but it's statistics under the hood. So what you really have to do is anytime you have anything systematic, like here's how to build this thing, here's how to put this thing on a website, here's how to test this thing. These are certain guardrails you have to have. This is what you have to test it against to make sure it's actually working. And it helps the AI to sort of converge on what good looks like. Those are the kind of things that I ended up building. And that's the topic about the context, meaning what's the corporate context, what's the business process, the frameworks. These are all the sort of rule sets, processes, and everything we built around it to make sure that when I told it to do something, I could actually rely on the fact that it had done exactly that, and then me prompting it to trigger those rules and to trigger the actions to work with it to get me a successful product at the end of the day.
My next question is, I think, one that people probably in your position might be facing, which is people in management, kind of executive levels, who go, "Wait a minute, how could you possibly have done this so quickly? How can I trust the work that you've done with an AI that you want to kind of deploy to my customers or my employees?"
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer is it's a production planning software. 3 pieces of it. It's in production today. I was just got done about an hour ago fixing some more bugs on it, but that's the normal life cycle of software. So it actually works. The key point I think is trust but verify. And with AI, you can't just
Right.
sort of verify. You really, really, really have to verify. And that comes down to you start with behavioral driven development. You say, look, this is what it should behave like. This is what the high level business processes are like. Then you get down to test-driven development, right? The classics, it's a classic IT stack essentially. How do you write tests? How do you write sort of Oracle gold standard tests? How do you write unit tests? How do you write basic functional tests? And basically, one of the things that we did was we said, here's the legacy software. if this goes in and this is done to it, this is what ends up coming out the other side, right? So we had a gold standard. We knew what the software should do, and this really helps the AI to converge on the right solution, because you can say, now we know what this software does, we know how it should work, we know what inputs and what outputs we should get. Let's lock those in and treat those as sort of a gold standard Oracle test. And then as we're developing the software, as we're rewriting everything, we validate against that continually. And every time we stumble on something and the end user or a tester or the AI itself finds a problem, we write another test. So we've literally got over 1,200 separate tests that are exercising all the different code paths at the different levels to make sure it is what it should be. And then at the end of the day, what you don't get out of is the whole topic of sort of alpha test, beta test, end user testing, acceptance testing, and so forth. That's just classical development that doesn't go away. But the AI does one thing very well, or does one thing: it multiplies your competence by a factor of 10, meaning you're literally a factor of 10 faster than you would be without it. I mean, I write that in the book. That's one thing. And that's something I've experienced with other things. Also with writing this book, I mean, I used AI to write the book. That's also the similar productivity. I've used it to pull up websites with web stacks, also roughly a factor of 10. What's even more surprising is the AI itself continually references that factor of 10 subconsciously, because AI is trained on the body of knowledge of the internet. And if the AI says, this is something that I think I'll be able to do in 1 to 2 hours. Well, 1 to 2 hours is 60 to 120 minutes. Divide that by 10, you're probably done in 6 to 12 minutes. The AI finishes it in 6 to 12 minutes. So the AI literally
Right.
uses the estimates that it has from the internet, from that body of knowledge. It states those estimates because that's the body of knowledge it has. It doesn't divide by the factor of 10, but it's always done a factor of 10 sooner. So there are several different ways to sort of cross-reference that, and that factor of 10 is something I'll happily explain to anybody.
Yeah, no, that's a fascinating observation. I've never heard that before. That's great. My last question about the book is, it's currently marked as 30% complete, so you're obviously publishing it in progress. Do you have any plans for the writing of it? Are you going to be doing a chapter a month, a chapter a week?
No, the book will probably be done within the next month or so.
Okay.
It's actually probably about 90% complete. But like I said, I'm working with AI to actually write the book. So with the AI, it was sort of looking at all the prompts, looking at the software development, deciding on a structure for the book, splitting it into chapters, putting in some story behind it. So all the high level structuring was done, and then I actually got the AI to write it, which sounded horrible, as it will do. So then you start developing style guides and don't do this and don't use short sentences and vary paragraph lengths and so forth. So it kind of kept getting better. But this is something that both with the programming side and with the book writing side that I saw about AI, you end up getting to about 80% very, very quickly. The last 20% is just a lot of manual work all the time. And basically the remaining chapters, all but 1 or 2 chapters are essentially completely written, but they'll take me probably a day or 2 of editing each. So they should go on online within the next 4 to 6 weeks, probably.
That's amazing. The book is Modernizing Legacy Software with AI, a technical leader's guide to AI-driven transformation. I highly recommend it to anyone who is a technical leader and working with with legacy software, or anyone who's interested in learning about like the true kind of cutting edge, kind of working, like proven frameworks and examples of how to work with AI that everyone is facing now. So thank you very much, Nils, for taking the time to do this launch video with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Len. Great to be on here. And yeah, hopefully you finish the book, and look forward to everybody reading it. And feel free to chime in with comments or suggestions or ideas. I'm always open to new things.
Thanks.